Bellator MMA in paradise is so nice, we had to do it twice. For the second straight day, we are coming to you from the island of Oahu and the Neil S. Blaisdell Arena in the Hawaiian state capital of Honolulu, where less than 24 hours ago at Fight for Our Heroes, we crowned a new flyweight champion when U.S. Marine veteran Liz Carmouche dethroned Juliana Velasquez via controversial fourth-round knockout, while Bellator 279 will see featherweight champion Cris Cyborg defend her title for the fourth time in a rematch against Arlene Blencowe, still the #1 contender. 5-1 in her last 6 with the lone loss coming against Cyborg, and Bellator 279 main card is loaded. The Bellator Bantamweight World Grand Prix promises to be bananas. The champion, Sergio Pettis, sidelined with injury. In his place, the man he dethroned for the title, Juan Archuleta, collides with Rafion Stotts in the opening round for the interim title. We'll also see former title challenger Patchy Mix duel former champion Kyoji Horiguchi. And what would a Bellator MMA return to Hawaii be without the homecoming for the returning former flyweight champion, the Pineapple Princess, Ilima-Lei Macfarlane? She takes on Justine Kish, looking to end the longest losing streak of her career. All right, in the words of Nipsey Hussle, the marathon continues. Well, hey, our MMA marathon of matinee action in Hawaii continues, because we've got 9 fights coming your way. And what a way to kick it off at lightweight. The undefeated Canadian Lance Gibson Jr. taking on Hawaiian Nainoa Dung.
Look at that age, 27, 23. We have been watching Nainoa Dung since he was 21. Both these guys young in their careers, 5-0 from Lance Gibson Jr.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Blaisdell Arena as Bellator Hawaii for the second straight night gets the action underway. Bellator 279 prelims begin now with 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 6'1", weighing in 155.4 pounds. His professional record: 4 wins, 2 losses. From Makaha, Hawaii, presenting the baby face assassin, Nainoa Dung. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 155.6 pounds. He's undefeated as a professional at 5-0. He fights out of Port Moody, British Columbia, Canada. Introducing fearless Lance Gibson Jr. In charge of the action, your referee, Frank Trigg.
Lightweights getting ready to light things up. It was 25 years ago this month in this venue where Lance Gibson Jr.'s dad and trainer fought in this arena. Nainoa Dung coming off a win over Isaiah William at Bellator 256 in April of last year. We are scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division, and immediately Dung goes downstairs with a calf kick before Gibson launches a left kick. And so we're off to a kicking start, Big John.
A kicking start. Both of these gentlemen, they were both born to be fighters. I'm telling you that because Nainoa's been fighting here in the islands as a kickboxer. That's his background. Lance Gibson Jr. coming up off the mats with his father and then learning the stand-up game. Both just outstanding talents in the lightweight division.
And with apologies to Motley Crue, no need to kickstart. They're fighting hearts, because these two are definitely looking to get things done, looking to light it up here as we begin the second of our back-to-back evenings here in Hawaii. And what a tremendous night last night, and what a tremendous couple of punches by Lance Gibson Jr. Last night we honored those who serve, and well, Lance Gibson Jr. looking to serve up a big mouthful of leather for Nainoa Dung.
Punctuated by that body kick, being in that southpaw stance, that liver is open to his side, and he is attacking it.
Quick right hand from Dung. Counter combination, 3-punch combination scores for Gibson.
You said it exactly. That was a beautiful counter. You saw how he said,
but he attacked and dropped by Dung. And He attended college at ASU, where he planned to wrestle, and now looking to maybe take the fight to the ground after Dung rung his bell.
Definitely rung that bell, and Dung made the mistake. You know, as a young fighter, sometimes you'll crush that space. He had him hurt. He should have just taken his time and not gone in so fast. That allowed Gibson to get this clinch, which is allowing him to get a little bit of a reprieve from being hurt. A beautiful, if you watch that work by Lance, he was able to grab that head that pulled Dung over. Now he's in the top position.
And it's Lance Gibson Jr. with some ground and pound from the half guard, neutralizes the right arm, looking to put him in the crucifix, and well, controversial crucifix in the main event of our Fight for Our Heroes card last night. But here, Gibson moving up, and Dung scrambling from the bottom.
Dung was trying to get him back to guard Gibson. Very nice use of his hips. He stopped that. Keeps himself in side control position. And this is the basic difference between these two gentlemen. When you look at their ground attacks, Lance Gibson's is just a more technical ground attack than Nainoa has right now.
And now Gibson landing some more left hands before maneuvering back to side control. Short elbow strike.
Powerful elbow strike.
And north-south, back to the other side control by Gibson.
And notice that transition from one side to the other. You can see what Lance Gibson is doing on the ground, and right now, Dung has no answer in how to stop what he wants to do.
Gibson, born into the fighting business, started his martial arts journey at the age of 2. We talked about his father, Lance Gibson Sr., his cornerman, and Lance Gibson Jr. off to an undefeated start, and after tasting some early adversity in this fight, has come on strong on the ground.
He has. You know, you take a look, he got rocked. He was hurt. But from that point in getting that clinch, he's been outstanding, and he has landed all of the shots from that point.
Under a minute left in the opening round of this lightweight battle. Ground and pound from Gibson. Dung trying to stay active off his back, trying to get Lance Gibson off of him, but now just trying to control his posture, weathering this storm from Lance Gibson.
Gibson again passing the side. Beautiful pass. Look at where his knee is in the hip. He's controlling Dung's ability to get him back into guard. Steps through with controlling that arm. Nice shot. Just beautiful exhibition of ground skills.
He's being patient. He's being precise. And after getting knocked down early, Lance Gibson Jr. getting it done on the mat as we head to round number 2.
Here's the left hand right there, right on the right eye of Lance Gibson. That's what hurt him. But you see how Dung came in and kind of closes the distance right here a little too much, and that's what allowed Gibson to get into that body lock position, drags him down, scoops the head, brings him over, and from that point, look at the use of the knee on the head. It isolates the head as he starts to bring shots down. Just dominated the ground activity. Big, heavy elbows, heavy shots. There he goes again, trapping the arm.
Get up, come on, clear.
Beautiful use of his body on the ground to control where Nainoa Dung could go.
5-0 with 3 knockouts and a rear naked choke submission win for Lance Gibson. Nainoa Dung 4-2 with a knockout and a submission. He has been knocked out in his career, but it was Dung that recorded the lone knockdown of the opening round, but he was the victim of a takedown, and it looks like Gibson looking for a single. Good balance by Dung.
It is good balance by Dung, but he's in a position where he's too high. That's why you see Lance Gibson being able to get him down, and that's just smart fighting by Gibson. After that round where he had the moment where in the stand-up he got hurt, He goes to the ground. He realizes, hey, I can dominate on the ground. Let me get back there.
Right
That's
to
what he's
full
doing.
mount. 27 years of age, and as we mentioned, for a quarter of a century, since his dad fought in this venue, John, he has been at the family business, mixed martial arts, and coming into his own. This is his 6th professional fight, his 4th here in Bellator, and he overcame adversity in the opening round and is putting his ground game to highly effective use. Another full mount, ground and pound from Gibson.
He is putting a ground game on display right now because he's moving all over wherever he wants. Heavy ground and pound from the mount right now. And the willingness to actually leave the mount, just to land a shot in half guard right now, but in total control of what's occurring.
Dung started training MMA at the age of 4 with his dad, and he is trained by his father. So it's a family affair for both Gibson and Dung, but the hammer fists are coming from Gibson.
Dung is unable to control the posture of Gibson, and he is eating some big, heavy shots based upon Gibson not being held down, being able to posture up and bring a lot of power down.
Under 3 minutes left in the second. All Lance Gibson Jr. following his 2nd takedown. And he is dominating the ground game. Gibson's assistant coach, former Bellator featherweight champion Julia Budd, who was dethroned by Chris Cyborg, who we will see defend her title for the 4th time against Blencowe in a rematch coming up later tonight in the main event of Bellator 279. This is our opener, the first of 9 scheduled preliminary bouts.
I know Dung doing a nice job of trying to hold him, but you can see Gibson Jr. just has that ability to pass on him when he wants. Dung hanging tough, though. He's taking a lot of shots. There is no give up in him.
He snapped a 2-fight losing streak in his last fight, going the distance with Isaiah William at Bellator 256 last April, but hanging tough because he is in tough against Lance Gibson Jr., going back to full mount and really just making it look easy, John, in terms of the transitions.
Yeah, he has been just moving anywhere he wants right now, and he's landing big shots. A lot of those are just heavy, heavy shots. And Dung he's hanging tough, but he's eating some heavy shots.
A scramble.
Not get himself to his feet. Let's see what happens this time.
And the escape, and Dung getting back to his feet, much to the delight of the partisan crowd, but it's Gibson looking for the submission.
Yeah, he was in trouble there. He got his head caught. He was able to at least, that's why you saw him drop his butt to the ground, to relieve that pressure.
Oh, and that nasty elbow strike from Gibson. So, a momentary reprieve for Dung, and he's been busted open.
Yeah, that elbow strike, that cut him open.
And blood is pouring out of the cut, John, over the right eye of Nainoa Dung.
Heavy shoulder pressure through a lot of this. There's just no let up. Every time he tries to get a breath, Lance Gibson is there to take it away.
And the cut man could become the most valuable person in Dung's life as he will escape round 1, beaten and bloodied.
Yeah, bro. Gotta press this round, bro.
Maybe, hold on. I'm going to work on it. We got a gas. Might need to look at it. So give me a second.
This is the elbow strike that I think cut Nainoa open. You'll see how heavy it is. Not that one right there. Big heavy strike that lands. Yeah, you can see the blood start to pour out. That was from that
Clear.
one elbow.
Clear.
Big strikes by Lance Gibson Jr. Beautiful job by the cut man to actually close that up. That is not an easy thing to do, and that's what the cut man is there to give you one more round.
Come here. Doctor, come here. Looks good to me. I just want to make sure it's okay. We're good. Okay, stay right there.
And what Frank Trigg is doing right there is he's allowing the cut man to do all the work that he can do on the cut. Make it as good as you can. Now I'll bring it to the doctor. That way the doctor can see it when it's its best.
Dung has his work cut out for him here in the second round as immediately Gibson goes for the clinch and the takedown. And Gibson, a perfect 3 for 3 in the takedown department. I don't want to say it's been a perfect fight because you will remember he did get knocked down in the early part of round 1, but look at the stats when it comes to those elbows.
Look at that. I mean, just a huge difference. And a lot of times you'll see that fighters don't want to stick their opponents up to the cage because they can use it to get themselves back to their feet. Lance Gibson understands he's in total control. He can do what he wants now in a crucifix position here.
Neutralizing Dung and trying to rain down the right hands of Fury to try to finish Dung off here in the third and final round. And quickly, Gibson moving to the back, got the hooks in.
He's looking for an arm triangle is what he's doing. That's why he went to Mount. We'll see if once he feels like he has it cinched, you'll see him come off.
His lone submission was via rear naked choke in his professional debut back in December of 2017. And Dung surviving that attack.
Nice job by Nainoa to get himself out of that, got his arm free, but back to that, almost into a crucifix again.
Elbow from Gibson and elbow to the body by Gibson. So Dung fighting to survive. Gibson looking to record his 5th stoppage victory in his 6th professional fight. More ground and pound by Gibson.
Gibson in full mount now. What he's doing, all this work is starting to now make Nainoa Dung start to turn. That's what he wants him to do. I'll beat you to the point where you have to turn, and then I'll take your neck.
Mount again, elbows, lefts and rights. Complete domination by Lance Gibson Jr. Now transitioning, was looking for the rear naked choke, giving up position, and now Dung in the close guard of Gibson. He has 2 minutes and 38 seconds to make a dramatic comeback.
Well, based upon sweat and blood, he slipped off. He had the back, went for the choke. Nainoa is able to turn on him. Now Nainoa in the top position. We'll see what Nainoa can do with it.
The unpredictable sport that is mixed martial arts. Nainoa Dung now threatening Gibson. Gibson on his back. He escapes. What a scramble. What a fight it's turned into, John. High drama in the final round.
Showing the heart of Nainoa Dung. No give up at all. Same with Lance Gibson Jr., but with all the shots that Nainoa Dung has taken.
Unbelievable heart. And now Lance Gibson has Dung back on his back. Dung trying to fend off the strikes. An incredible display of guts and grit, and for Lance Gibson, equally incredible is his patience and the way that he has systematically and methodically dissected Dung. But man, Dung is as tough as they come.
They've almost left you speechless, which is remarkable. Yeah, just unbelievable exhibition by both guys. The output by Gibson has been remarkable, and just the output and toughness of Nainoa Dung. I just love there is no quitting him. He just keeps on hanging in there because this is not an easy thing to work around when you got a guy as good as Gibson in the mount.
How good has he been? In this third round, he's credited with 21 of 32 strikes landed. That's a 57% clip. And I mean ground control, John. It's a whitewash.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, although I know I had that point where he actually was able to switch the position, he wasn't able to hold on to it and keep Gibson from being able to get out and get back to the top.
And yes, it was Dung who dropped Lance Gibson in the opening round, but since then, save for some excitement here in the third, it's been predominantly Lance Gibson Jr. doing whatever he wants to do on the ground except finish off Dung.
That's exactly it. Some guys are just so tough. That's what Dung is showing.
A dominant display by Lance Gibson Jr. Impressive display of heart by Dung, but Lance Gibson Jr. should stay undefeated. Goes the distance for the second time in his career. Defeated Marcus Surin via unanimous decision at Bellator 257 in April of last year, but was coming off that second round TKO win over Raymond Pena at Bellator 268 in October. But so much to like, and we continue to see the growth of Lance Gibson Jr.
Well, he started off, and if you're looking at the replays here, it was the stand-up where he was actually doing well with until that left hook landed and hurt him. He was able to get into the clinch, able to slow the fight down for a second. You can see his legs are not under him, but from the point where he got this body lock, tucked the head and turned him over, he took over the fight with his ground fighting skills, his ability to maintain the top position, his ability to land heavy ground and pound at times. He just dominated the fight from that point on. Dung hanging tough throughout, but he absorbed a lot of punishment, a lot of big elbows, got opened up by the elbows. Never stopped, though. Never gave in. Lance Gibson Jr., I believe, is definitely going to be going to 6-0, but a heck of a fight by Dung.
The pride of Port Moody, British Columbia, Canada. Will he remain unbeaten? We'll find out from Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we'll go to your three judges at cage side. Your first, Brian Miner, scores the fight 30-26, while judges Dane Furuta and Mike Bell both see it the same, 30-25. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated, fearless, Lance Gibson Jr.
The score spelled dominance for Lance Gibson Jr. He is 6-0 as we kick things off in the lightweight division. Let's say hello to Amanda Guerra at the Fight Desk.
Hello and aloha. That works more, Ronaldo. Welcome to the Fight Desk. Amanda Guerra, Josh Thompson with you here. Two-time world champ Josh Thompson. Kicking things off, let's talk about the main event we have coming up tonight. Chris Cyborg putting her belt, someone's excited, on the line for a fourth time. It is a rematch with Arlene Blencowe. How different could this rematch be?
It can be really different. Arlene was able to have a full camp in Jackson Wings, being very selfish for the first time for her. Cyborg, not much to prove and not much to settle up from what happened after the last fight. So she needs to make sure she comes in and is aggressive, but not over-aggressive Cyborg does, where Arlene has something to prove to herself that the first fight was a fluke and she can get it done.
Arlene Blencowe telling us this is the pinnacle of her career. This is her third title shot. She does not want to miss out on winning it, but nobody has dethroned Chris Cyborg in Bellator yet. Could we see much of a different Arlene Blencowe, do you think?
I do. I think we do. It's just now, my biggest thing is, how fast does she fight? Does she force it? Does she push too hard and put herself in bad positions? I don't think so. I think she's going to have a great performance tonight.
Mr. Gibson walking behind us. You see all of his fans out there. Maura, let's continue the prelims. Back down to you.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. Featherweight action between number 9 ranked Justin Gonzalez, coming off the first loss of his career against Kamaka III, who was victorious in his return to Bellator MMA.
He was 72-inch reach for Justin Gonzalez. Got great wrestling and great stand-up. Kamaka is just a brawling fool. This is going to be fun.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
For those joining us tonight live on YouTube at Bellator MMA and Showtime Sports, we welcome you to Blaisdell here in Honolulu as we go now to 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'7", weighing in 145 pounds even. He is professional record 9 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. From Pearl City, Hawaii, introducing the fighting Hawaiian Kamaka. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'9", weighing in 145.6 pounds. As a professional, he holds 12 victories, just 1 defeat out of Greeley, Colorado, Justin J-Train Gonzalez. In charge of the action, your referee, Dane Furuta.
So the surging Aaron Pico temporarily derailed the J train, but Justin Gonzalez looking to get back on track, turns 31 April 28th. And he faces the double tough Kai Kamaka III, 3-0 here in Bellator MMA.
Where's my towel?
They're already throwing in the towel, John.
Just throwing it in to get a little water up. Justin Gonzalez in his last fight, yes, he did lose it, but what a performance he put on against Aaron Pico. That was a just incredible fight between the two.
The bell, round 1 immediately. The jab connects for Gonzalez. Yuki looking to utilize that reach advantage. Goes immediately downstairs as well to the lead leg with a calf kick. So Gonzalez comes out throwing and kicking. Gonzalez out of the top-notch Sports Academy and Trials MMA, fighting out of Greeley, Colorado. Kamaka fighting out of Extreme Couture and Line of Judah, head trainer Eric Nixick. And Kamaka with that victory over John DeJesus as he goes down the surging Gonzalez with the collar tie, but it's Kamaka going to the body with the left hook, John. And there's a left over the top by Gonzalez.
Kai Kamaka started off in his career, it was a real brawler, was always just going after getting into these scraps that he was just throwing. Caution to the wind. Nice shot by Kai. He's really settled down under Eric Nixick, and being at Extreme Couture, he's picking his shots much more. He's not putting himself into danger near as often. It's made him just a much better fighter.
Both of them looking to exchange here in round 1. A minute and a half has elapsed. Sharp jab splitting the guard of Gonzalez for Kamaka. Working with Eric Nixick. Sharp jab is his trademark.
The jab is looking really, it's clean, and it's also very difficult. If you look where his hand placement is, it's not easy for Justin Gonzalez to read when that is coming out based upon where he's holding it.
There's Gonzalez testing the waters with the jab before coming forward.
Also landed a nice clean shot to the body.
The calf kick. Midway point of the opening round. The jab by Gonzalez, nicely timed with a counter left from Kamaka.
Kai's been doing a very nice job of countering when Justin comes in. Kai is always giving him something to think about. He's countering quite often. Nice,
Oh,
clean, sort of straight right.
sniper-like right hand, and I was just about to say that Kamaka has that right hand, you know, almost stapled to his head well, but Gonzalez found the hole and landed that shot. And landed that right hand. And Gonzalez biting down, looking for that left hook. Jab lands for Gonzalez, using some feints as well. Nasty body kick by Kamaka from the southpaw stance.
One thing you're seeing from Justin when he throws, he needs to at least get his head off the center line. That's why Kamaka is able to land those counters. Just pull your head just a little bit to one side or the other, whichever you decide.
You're right, John. Kamaka landing the 1-2 right there. One minute remaining in the opening round. Both Gonzalez and Kamaka have had their moments in the striking department. In fact, the stats show that Kamaka outlanding Gonzalez 19-18 at this point. So that's how close it is in terms of total strikes landed. And there was a nice left from Gonzalez to the face of Kamaka before going downstairs with a chopping calf kick, and a left from Kamaka. Oh, nasty exchange.
These guys are throwing heavy shots.
And it's been predominantly punches. Right now, Gonzalez with the edge 7-5 in terms of kicks landed, but a good opening 5 minutes between Gonzalez and Kamaka. Gonzalez looking for the single, but time runs out.
A little surprised that it took Justin that long to try to incorporate his wrestling into it, but hey.
Quality stuff in that opening 5.
You know, outstanding when you're looking at it. Big difference is, look at the way Kamaka moves his head off the center line. When he's throwing, you'll see him, he'll roll out, he'll roll through. You're not seeing the same thing, and that's why a lot of times Justin's getting countered.
So I need double jabs, right? Level change to get that right hand pumping. He's drifting off to the power hand side. So you have overs and you have Tavares when he drifts that way.
Here we see Justin Gonzalez landing clean right hand. Same thing right there. That was a nice clean shot. And then Kamaka, beautiful left hook, landed clean. You saw Justin comes in with a body shot, but look where his head's at, and he's leaving it open there for Kamaka to have an idea exactly where he needs to go with that counter.
Who did you like most in that opening round? Justin J. Train Gonzalez or Kamaka III? You have your unofficial scorecard handy?
I do not, but I like them both. How's that?
Hey, 10-10 is fine with me.
You know, it's one of those, it's hard to say 10-10, but both guys had their moments. It's really a question
of... And the stats speak, I mean, they back it up.
Yeah.
Right now, it's dead even. 20-22, 22-22 in terms of strikes landed, 16-16 punches. So 10-10 warranted.
I'm pretty good, thank you. I like it.
Oh! By Kamaka, blocked by Gonzalez, but still.
I think it touched him still. That went through the glove. That was a nice kick.
Nice jab by Kamaka. Stalking Gonzalez.
Kamaka needs to keep that jab pumping. He's been very effective with that jab.
Gonzalez began wrestling at the age of 8, wrestled for the University of Northern Colorado and CSU Pueblo, and we saw him in the final seconds of the first looking for his first takedown.
Well, I'm telling you, this is as good as Kamaka has ever looked, because he, like I said, he's that brawler. He'll get sucked into the brawl and make mistakes, and he's not. He's in control. Patient. He knows exactly what he's doing, what he's looking for, and taking his time.
Strategic. He also wrestled in college at the NAIA level, but this is a smorgasbord of strikes, and it's Kamaka III putting together the more eye-catching combinations.
Absolutely. That was a beautiful slip and rip. He brought that double combination up. I don't know if I like the hand on the thigh, but
doing his Roy Jones Jr. impression.
It's looking good.
Gonzalez now 12-1 again, losing via unanimous decision to Aaron Pico in his last fight. and looking to get back on the winning track, but in tough here against Kamaka III, who is showing his maturity as a striker and a more patient fighter.
Right now, Kamaka has Justin confused.
And look at that defense. Look at the step back on the defense by Kamaka.
It's beautiful.
Just out of range, really putting together a...
He's switching his stance in and out, southpaw to orthodox. He's bringing those shots straight up the middle. He's splitting the guard of Justin Gonzalez. And he is, at times, the counters that he's landing, it has Justin confused.
And Gonzalez a little flat-footed here, trying to find a way to. He's on his back foot now, maybe looking to try to find an entry to take this fight to the ground. There's a calf kick from Kamaka, and Kamaka really diversifying his attack, giving Gonzalez many looks. Kamaka going inside, and it's Gonzalez now stuffed the takedown and was going for the submission, and on the exit, John, a beautiful right hand by Gonzalez.
Exactly, and that's what you're looking for. If you're going to be in that situation, you know, he has the head. If you're going to exit out, make him pay on that, and that's exactly what Justin did.
And Gonzalez corner telling him to pick it up, and he goes for the body lock and gets the takedown, gets the back of Kamaka. Kamaka back to his feet, but a waist lock being employed by Gonzalez.
A really nice job of body control and positioning by Justin Gonzalez. He was getting high. Kai had him kind of going over the top. He was able to wiggle his way back. And still in control.
Minute 15 left in the second. And now Gonzalez looking to pin, keep Kamaka, try to bring him to the canvas, but Kamaka showing good defense and grappling, trying to be dragged to the canvas, finally taken down by Gonzalez, looking to take the back, get the hooks in, but backdoor escape by Kamaka, well done.
Again, Justin Gonzalez got high, Kai was able to shake him off there.
Sharp jab from Gonzalez, but doesn't follow up with the right hand. Gonzalez has the reach advantage, but it's been Kamaka able to utilize footwork and angles and speed, hand speed and striking speed. And he has a slight advantage, but boy, Kamaka went down, and both of them end up on their feet. The crowd enjoying what they're seeing between number 9 ranked featherweight Justin J. Train Gonzalez and the fighting Hawaiian Kamaka III. And again, we remind you, John, that the stats are just a barometer. They don't tell the whole story, but I'll tell you what, through 2 rounds of action, Gonzalez has been credited with 35 total strikes landed. Kamaka, 35 total strikes landed. Kamaka's landed 24 punches. Gonzalez, 22. Kamaka, 11 kicks. Gonzalez, 10. Let's listen to Eric Nixick.
You gotta believe in your right hand. You gotta throw that motherfucker. You understand what I'm telling you? Believe in that right hand. Bring your feet with you when you throw. What do you got?
We stole the round because we took him down. Okay, let's get him to the mat once this next round. 3rd round, you gotta get them hands going though. I want them hands moving, okay? He's throwing a hook after you jab, so keep that right up high. You're jabbing, keep that right up high because he's firing a hook off, all right? Let's go. Hey, everything you fucking got right here, baby. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, put your hands together as we go to the 3rd.
Through 2 rounds, they've been as close as conjoined twins. The fighting Hawaiian Kamaka III looking to go 4-0 in Bellator. Justin Gonzalez looking to bounce back from his first loss. It may all come down, it very well likely will come down to this final 5 minutes. John, what do you have on your scorecard after 10 minutes, knowing what we just said about the stats?
I'm just going to say this fight's even. I have 1 piece. We're going to go with that right now.
I love it.
Because I think both guys need to put it all out here. Both guys need to win this round.
Gonzalez coming forward, and Kamaka already going upstairs with a head kick. So, man, the numbers so close, so competitive. here. And the featherweight division, you talk about the depth of one of the glamour divisions of Bellator MMA. You got the #9 ranked Gonzalez and Kamaka III knocking on the door here as he gets taken down but defends it well.
Beautifully
Tenacity of Gonzalez, but wow, Kamaka III, offensively, defensively, he's doing it for the crowd here in Hawaii.
And you know, the thing is, take a look at him right now. Both guys, incredible cardio. Both guys are there. Neither one is tired. Really, the big difference, I think, Kamaka, you see him throwing that beautiful hook and that beautiful jab. He needs to throw more off of that right hand.
And now it's Gonzalez busier, putting together a combination that culminated with an inside calf kick, and Kamaka comes forward. Close forwards before the break. Sharp jab from Kamaka, but again, pot shots, single shots. There's less than 3.5 minutes left in this very close fight.
You know, Kamaka just threw a beautiful hook. He should have followed that up with that right hand. He's leaving that behind, and that could be the difference. Nice
Counter
jab by Gonzalez.
And Gonzalez looking for that single, slick, slippery, sweaty. Coming up on 3 minutes left in the fight and very much hanging in the balance. The jab of Kamaka III has been there, but both need an uptick in the offense. Both need to empty whatever's left in their tanks, and there's an opportunity for Gonzalez, and he comes forward.
Yeah, that kick took Kamaka off balance. It wasn't that he was hurt. It was a well-timed kick by Justin Gonzalez.
Body shot by Gonzalez. Nice right hand.
Kamaka's going to go back and watch this fight, and he's going to think, I could have used my right hand so much more, and it might have been a difference in this fight. It might have made it easier for him.
Jab from Gonzalez lands, maximizing that 4-inch reach advantage. Body shot again. Nice right hand to the body by Gonzalez.
I'm really wondering if Kamaka hurt that right hand, because he is just not throwing it.
And he's going southpaw to orthodox, and you're right, the offense is Gonzalez is now bringing the fight to Kamaka. Kamaka coming forward, but not throwing much. And the single by Gonzalez, looking to run the pipe. Nope, slips right out, does Kamaka. Body kick by
very well
Gonzalez. Less than a minute and a half. Who wants it more? Final 60 seconds. And this third round is close as the first two in terms of the stats.
A little more output by Justin Gonzalez, though.
The crowd rallying behind Hawaii's Kamaka III. Justin Gonzalez in the pocket, feinting. Throws the left, doesn't follow up with the right. Body kick by Gonzalez that scores. And John, you're right. More offense from Gonzalez here in the third round, and for Kamaka III, his offense a bit muted. Gonzalez again to the body. Now the judges will have their hands full scoring this hotly contested 15 minutes of action between Justin Gonzalez, Kamaka III. If it indeed came down to that third and final round, who do you like?
I like Justin Gonzalez if it comes down to that third round. I mean, it's hard to win the fight when a guy is just out-voluming you and there's no big knockdowns or anything like that. You got to give it. Justin Gonzalez was throwing more. He was landing more. Kamaka tended to become a one-sided fighter. He was throwing with his left hand, but not with his right.
We good? Stop. Good work. Hey, Phil.
Watch the replay here. Nice right hand. Clean shot by Justin Gonzalez. He landed this multiple times throughout the fight. In the third round also, Kamaka doing a great job of giving him some different looks, but Justin was able to time his shots well. Nice kick that just took him off balance. Landed just a little grazing shot there. Overall, very, very close fight. Well matched. Both guys are just outstanding and both getting better.
Kamaka III was hoping to crash the top 10 rankings, taking care of a number 9 ranked. Justin Gonzalez would help him do so, and there's an exchange of respect as, 15 minutes in the books, and a lot to study when they go back to their respective camps, and we await the judge's decision. Here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we'll go now to your 3 judges at cage side. Your first, Kyle Takao, scores the fight 29-28. He sees the fight for Kamaka. Your second judge at cage side, Brian Miner, 30-27. He sees the fight for Gonzalez. Your third and final judge, Sal D'Amato, scores the fight 29-28. He sees it for the winner by split decision, Justin J. Gonzalez.
Not surprised it was a split decision. Obviously, the fans would have liked the fighting Hawaiian Kamaka to get the victory. But hey, John, Justin Gonzalez, you felt it enough in that third round, and he comes back from his first career loss, now 2-1 in Bellator. Kamaka now 3-1 in the Bellator MMA cage, as we go back to Amanda at the fight desk.
What a start to the night. Moro, Amanda Guerra, Josh Thompson with you here on the fight desk. Well, tonight we have the launch of the Bellator Bantamweight World Grand Prix. Look, all these fights are going to be good, but one of them has more weight. It's on your top left. Juan Archuleta going up against Rafion Sas, because whoever wins this, Josh, is going to be the interim champ. And we're starting to get a little beef between these two guys here.
Yeah, it started back at the Mohegan Sun Casino when Juan Archuleta was in an elevator and Rafion Sas walks in, gets a video of them talking trash to all the other guys that were in the elevator. It was amazing, but the great thing about this sport is they actually get to punch each other in the face to find out who's better. And the winner tonight is going to end up walking away with that interim title.
Yeah, Rafion Sas was supposed to fight Sergio Pettis, who he knows very well, similar style. So Juan Archuleta going up against Rafion Sas tonight. Maura will send it back down to you.
All right, thank you very much, Amanda, as we roll along with the prelims here at Bellator 279, and we are set for featherweight action between number 6 ranked Janae Harding and number 10 ranked Diana Silva.
You can look at all the stats here. It's very close. Janae Harding with a 70-inch reach compared to 68.5. Both women love to fight in the stand-up. I think that's where this is going to play out.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
For those joining us tonight live in the UK on BBC iPlayer, we welcome you to Honolulu, Hawaii, as we get set now for 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'7", weighing in 145.6 pounds. Her professional record 9-7 from Nova Iguaçu, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Introducing Diana Silva. And across the cage, her adversary out of the red corner at 5'9", weighing in 146 pounds. As a professional, 6 wins, 5 losses by way of the Gold Coast. She fights out of Sydney, Australia, Janae Hollowpoint Harding. In charge, your referee, Mike Beltran.
Australia's Janae Hollowpoint Harding, 3-3 inside the Bellator MMA cage with a knockout. Brazil's Diana Silva looking for her first Bellator MMA win, and this her 3rd appearance under the Bellator MMA banner. Bell, round 1, and Harding looking to bounce back from a loss to Leah McCourt. 2nd round triangle choke at Bellator 259 May of last year. And Silva, John, looking to end the first 2-fight losing streak of her career, coming off a TKO loss to Blencowe, of course, will challenge Chris Cyborg for the featherweight crown in a rematch in our main event later tonight.
That loss that Janae Harding had to Liam, of course, she was doing so well in that fight. She was actually just dominating the fight. She got hit by that up kick. That hurt her. That's how she fell into the triangle, and that's the sport. One mistake can lead you to your downfall.
Harding promised a striking clinic, and early on, of course, the fight starts in the stand-up, and I would imagine, John, this is where we are most likely to see this fight contested.
Both of these ladies like to fight in the stand-up. Silva is very comfortable. She will take a punch to give a punch. Janae Harding a little bit more technical with her striking many times.
Harding has also fought as a professional boxer. Silva trained in Muay Thai. Teep. There's a Muay Thai teep from Harding to the midsection. Just letting loose, trying to find the rhythm. Nice right hand by Harding, but a good counter strike from Silva.
You can see, though, how Harding is the one she's the one leading the exchanges.
Overhand.
Big overhand.
Windmill right by Silva that missed. Harding utilizing some footwork, trying to create angles to gain entry.
Nice job by Silva to cut her off. Harding's footwork, if you're watching how she is moving it, she does move very well. Watch how she'll actually bring it back into the power of Silva, but she's going off of that jab, which is keeping Silva from pulling the trigger.
At the midpoint of the opening round, long jab from Harding before she switches to southpaw back to orthodox. Silva pawing at Harding, catches the kick and looking to sweep the leg out from underneath. Harding does so, and Silva swarms Harding, but Harding able to escape.
2 clean shots landed, though.
Harding's 6 victories have come via form of knockout. 2 of Silva's 9 wins have come due to her striking. Neither has recorded a submission win, which again speaks to what we talked about. The fact that they would love to make it a striking clinic, and it's been a striker's ball thus far. A minute and a half left in the first round, and again, looking at the pure numbers, John, even though Harding, it appears, has maybe the more eye-catching shots, again, very close.
Okay, one of the things that Harding is doing, though, watch as she's extending out here. Watch her head. It does not move off the center line. She wants to take and bring that head to one side or the other, just so it's not in that position where it's last seen by Silva.
Silva's landed some decent punches as well, while Harding has had the big edge in the kicking department. 45 seconds left in a tactical opening round. There's a right uppercut, couple of lefts by Silva. Counter left by Silva.
Again, those counters are working because watch Janae as she comes in. Her head, no movement at all. Doesn't bring it off the center line, so it's an easy target for Silva.
Question is, easy round to score for you, my unofficial score?
Yes, sir, for me.
Who and why?
Best shots landed by Deanna Silva. Thought she was the one that controlled the round. She landed the better shots overall. She gets the round.
Perfeito. Teu round foi perfeito. É isso aí. Tá vendo? É isso aí. O outro round é a mesma coisa. Ela tá perfeita. Ela já não sabe mais o que vai fazer. Mantém a mesma coisa que na hora tua mão vai entrar e ela vai sentir.
You can watch in these exchanges. Watch. See how her head's right there in the center line. She just leaves it there. You got to move it out. That's why this left hand goes and touches her. Just a little bit off center line. It's going to miss. Janae needs to really start thinking about that head movement. Just bring her head off the center. It will keep her from being hit quite so often.
All right, ladies, second round. Let's fight. Let's go.
Bell, round 2. Harding said that she was expecting a second round knockout win over Silva, while Silva feels that her aggression will be the key here in knocking off the number 6 ranked Harding. And again, you talk about the depth of the featherweight division, and here we have 2 top 10 fighters who aren't exactly lighting things up, John, but these are important fights here because they're both coming off losses, and it speaks to the fact that these are the fights you definitely need to win, because even though you may not have had the biggest amount of success, every win puts you that much closer to an opportunity that could change your life.
Yeah, you can get into that where your confidence starts to just wane a little bit because you're just not sure, and so you're not fighting so much to win, you're fighting not to lose, and you've got to just go out there and put on the performance that you know is going to get you that win. Sometimes you got to let it hang out.
In the second round, starting very much the way the majority of the first round unfolded. And there Silva catches and takes away the base of Harding for the second time, but unable to capitalize. Harding back to her feet.
That was beautifully done by Silva, and the one thing that at least that will do is it tells Janae Harding, well, she's willing to try to take me down, so I have to be careful and not let that happen. Beautiful
the right hand that landed for Silva. Huge edge for Silva in terms of punches landed. 3-1. She's outlanding Harding in terms of the punching department. Less than 3 minutes remaining, and Silva tested the waters with that right uppercut a couple of times, John.
Yes, she has. And that left hook that she keeps throwing, it's finding its mark. She's feeling more and more comfortable as this fight goes on.
Oh, beautiful left hook right down the middle. Nice combination by Silva. In many ways, Harding pushing her punches, not punching through the target. And midway point of the second round and the fight. A lot of footwork by Harding, not a lot of offense, and gets countered again.
A lot of footwork and a lot of ones. She just keeps on throwing one shot here, one shot there. She's not opening up with a lot of combinations.
Double jab from Harding. No right hand follow-up. Again, the double jab before switching to a southpaw stance. And Silva backing up, catches the kick, delivers a right hand down the middle, knocking Harding off balance.
It's a nice straight right.
Avoids that chopping left hand by Harding. A lot of space between them. And it's been fought at range. Harding moving in, getting countered by Silva. Silva every once in a while authoring an offensive attack and doing enough to keep Harding at bay. Minute remaining in the second. Swing and a miss for Silva. That clubbing left hand landed, delivered a right hand as well. Harding needs to get her offense on track somehow.
Yeah, she needs to start more shots.
Well, here come more shots from Silva. There was a right from Harding. Harding changes levels, looking for the takedown. And well defended by Diana Silva. Calf kick by Harding, but you talk about ones, all the single shots. And again, the lateral movement. The limited amount of combinations have predominantly come from Diana Silva. Third and final round straight ahead from Hawaii.
Para poder tirar o prejuízo. Ela tá perdendo. Perdeu o primeiro, perdeu o segundo round. Como é que tá o gás? Tá bem? Olha, não sai pro pau. O round é teu. Ela tá perdendo.
Bit of volume. They look, the lead leg's there, and she is planted and swinging. So you can lean in, get her swinging, and then she's there when you can counter. Don't leave us in the judges. Let's go.
Harding told us that her length and how she manages her distance would be an advantage against Silva. We've seen her utilize that strategy, but she needs to throw a lot more strikes here. Would you agree, John, in the third and final round?
Yeah, I think that's a big difference. Is she's throwing a lot of ones. She'll throw the jab, or she'll throw the straight right.
Both of them
throwing a combination.
Yeah, both of them come out throwing. Silva wanting to land that left hook. Harding down momentarily.
Silva hasn't thrown many kicks, but those two right there are actually effective.
16-4. Harding in terms of the kicks landed, but a big advantage for Silva in the punching department. And minute now gone in the third round, and we've seen a pattern developing in this fight, John.
Yeah, we have. And it's, look, both women want to fight in the stand-up, but the one thing that Silva has been able to do at times is make Harding at least have to think about defending the takedown, which I think is important. And at least Silva has been throwing more in combinations than Harding, and I think that's why she's been more effective.
There's a left hand. Again, effective counter from Silva. And Harding, when she does throw combinations, not at the right range.
No, right now. She's trying to keep from being hit, which is understandable.
Oh, yeah, normal. Respecting the power of Silva. And she even talked about the fact that Silva can be explosive, and that was something that Harding wanted to avoid. Well, less than 3 minutes now left in the fight. You want to enter that danger zone, as you call it, John.
There is definitely a danger zone in there. Silva starting to open up a little bit more with the kicking game.
Let's face it, the entire cage is the danger zone.
Yeah, this is true.
Double jab by Harding, but again, the one counter right hand by Silva, the more effective shot.
Nice little counter left hook by Harding. That was clean.
Silva has been credited with 2 knockdowns, one in the second and one here in the third. And again, there's many different facets to the fight game, but we haven't seen a lot of variety. We haven't seen many adjustments.
No, the one thing that you did just see out of Harding is what she needs to do more of. She did what we call a slip and rip. She, you watch her using her footwork, dip through the shot that Silva threw, and then threw her own counter. That needs to just happen more.
There's a right hand that lands for Harding and switches back to southpaw before going orthodox, and Silva with a short left that landed.
Nice right hand landed by Silva there.
How much ebb and flow in this featherweight matchup between number 6 ranked Janae Harding, number 10 ranked Diana Silva. All 3 rounds have pretty much been identical in terms of the strategy and the output. And now Harding coming forward again, gets that kick caught, and again Silva almost taking her off her feet, but Harding able to stay in a vertical base that time. Nice lead left hook that landed for Harding, but again, one shot. Yep. One is the loneliest number when it comes to Janae Harding's offense tonight. Under 30 seconds left in the fight. And yet for Silva, she as well has been content to just stay in her.
They have both gotten into a specific rhythm inside of the cage. Look, Janae's got good movement. She moves well. She's got a nice floater, but she's got to throw more.
And I know there are those who wishes that Silva may have been more explosive, but she stuck to her game plan, and it may reap rewards here tonight. Both of them have their hand in the air. John, which one deserves to have that hand in the air on your unofficial scorecard?
Unofficial, I have Diana Silva winning the fight, but you never know. I just don't think that.
For the decision, we go now to your 3 judges, Frank Trigg, Kyle Takao, and Mike Bell. All 3 have it exactly the same, 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Diana Silva.
So, number 10 ranked Diana Silva just knocked off number 6 ranked Janae Harding. Clean sweep on the official judges' scorecards, and she is now 1 and 2 in the Bellator MMA cage. Coming up in our main event tonight, it's the rematch for the featherweight championship. Chris Cyborg versus Arlene Blencowe.
The champion.
One of the most ferocious fighters in MMA history.
The challenger.
Bringing the thunder from down under.
Here we go.
Man, when she gets those hands going like that, it is a thing of beauty.
One of the most formidable forces to don the 4-ounce gloves, an all-time great.
Bellator featherweight world champion, Chris Cyborg.
She is now the proverbial one punch away from living the dream. She
She's a two-time boxing world champion.
As the fastest finish in Bellator women's featherweight history.
Anybody gets touched on the chin like that, you're gonna end up going out.
Blencowe.
Neil S. Blaze Arena, the rematch. The Cyborg recorded her first submission win over Arlene Blencowe, but right now we are set for more preliminary action, lightweight division. Keone Diggs, 9-1 against Bobby King, 11-4. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Tonight here at Blaisdell Arena, we go now to 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner at 5'9", weighing in 155.2 pounds. His professional record, 11 wins, 4 defeats. Fighting out of Kaysville, Utah, by way of Lahaina, Maui, Hawaii, presenting Bobby King. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'9", weighing in 156 pounds even as a professional. 9 victories, just 1 loss from Waipahu, Hawaii, introducing Keone Diggs. In charge, your referee, Dane Peruzza.
So Keone Diggs looking to bounce back from the first loss of his career against Daniel Weichel at Bellator 261 last June. Bobby King coming off a win over Aviv Gonzalez at Bellator 274 earlier this year in February, and they come out quickly in the center of the cage. And it's Diggs flashing the jab, testing the waters with the kick, but then there's Bobby King with the kick down the middle.
That was a nice win for Bobby King against Aviv Gonzalez, who is definitely a young up-and-comer, but a big difference in power. The guy he's facing in this cage tonight, Keone Diggs, has got power in both hands.
Funny. Keone Diggs remembers sitting in front of his TV, audibly rooting for what he says was an unfamiliar Hawaiian fighter at the time, and now he was cheering on Bobby King, and now he stands in front of Bobby King. So you never know who you are going to face in this circle of truth that we call the Bellator MMA cage. And kick there by Diggs.
Very good with that left hand. He keeps it cocked, ready to go. And when he fires, it's fast.
Diggs lost to Weichel via split decision. And that was Diggs' first fight at 145 pounds. Now at 155, again lands that left hook on Bobby King.
You can see Bobby King, he has felt the power of Diggs. He understands that he's got some snap on it, so he's looking for his distance. He's trying to take his time, pick his shots. Bobby King's got very clean stand-up fighting style.
Oh, nasty exchange.
But he cannot take a bunch of those from Keone Diggs.
Midway point of the opening round as King goes to the body with the right before going upstairs with the left. Lead right hook misses for Diggs. Both trying to navigate the right distance to do the most effective damage without getting hurt too much in return.
Well, one of these, if you're watching Keone, watch what he's doing as he paws with that right hand. He's in that southpaw stance. He'll paw. What he's trying to do is actually slap the hand of Bobby King away at times so he can bring that left hand right down the pipe.
minute and a half left in the first round. Cautious start by both Diggs and King.
A little bit off. Cheley shakes it off. Nice clean strike by Bobby King there.
Connects in the final minute of the first frame. Circling. And Diggs misses with the left and catches one from Bobby King.
Bobby King, he stung Cheley with that. You could tell by the response. Cheley Diggs felt that shot. He made a mistake, overextended, tried to cover it up by spinning. Bobby King landed a very clean shot.
And I understand what you were inferring, John, about getting King to bite on that pawing jab of Diggs, but King not falling for it thus far.
Not at all. I think Dwayne Ludwig has done a good job of training Bobby how to deal with someone that's trying to parry that hand over.
Easy recover. Hey, how you feel? Deep breath. Relax. Open it up. Hey, relax. Everything's working. Everything's working, okay? Be patient with your right hand to the head. It's gonna come, okay? So you're winning the fight, right? You're winning the fight, but you're giving away moments by going big and allowing him to reset. This guy is only trying to lunge in and lunge out. His timing is only good for one shot, right? You step in one big heavy shot, then he's gonna try and time. You keep peppering him, he doesn't know what to do. You just gotta stay patient. Now, if you... I like the front. If the front's going, you're reaming back. Top that leg.
So we heard from Ivan Flores in Cheley Diggs' corner, of course, Dwayne Ludwig in Bobby King's corner, and as we get to the second round, I want to hear your unofficial score and your biggest takeaway from that first 5 minutes.
You know, I thought for a lot of it, I thought Cheley Diggs was doing very well, but I thought Bobby King in the last bit, he came on, he landed a couple of strikes, and that one hurt Cheley Diggs, and that's a big difference in the round. I'm going to give Bobby King the round 10-9. Cheley just needs to, instead of trying, right, like what you saw right there, instead of loading up, just keep touching it.
There's a nice calf kick inside by Bobby King, darting in and out, utilizing footwork now. And
Bobby's doing a great job with his footwork, and he's creating problems with Cheley, which is making Cheley overextend at times because he's getting frustrated with that movement.
Yeah, he told us that he felt he was faster, stronger, and had a better fight IQ than his opponent. Of course, you want to believe that, and we've seen glimpses of it here in this fight.
Well, we know Cheley's got power, and when he starts to brawl, you got to be careful about trading shots with him because he does have power in his hands. But right now, Bobby King's frustrating Cheley as far as the footwork and the inability to land those shots. That's why you see it.
Oh, and there was that left hook by Diggs. That King ate Diggs' lone knockout victory was via TKO due to leg kicks and punches back in June of 2018 against Andy Varela. Does have 6 submission wins, but putting that power on display with that left hook on King, and King took it well, rolled with it, and King lands a left hook upstairs.
Coming to the body.
Both of them mixing up their attack. Going downstairs with kicks, and there's the double jab blocked by Diggs, who was testing for a right hook, and he went downstairs with a calf kick. up on the midpoint of this fight. Neither Diggs or King have attempted a takedown. And there, Diggs digging to the body with a right hand.
That was a nice clean shot by Keone.
King with an opportunity to deliver a Floyd Mayweather patented pull counter, does the good head movement but doesn't counter.
He didn't counter, you're exactly right. But the one thing you're seeing out of Keone right now, Keone's calmed down a little bit. He's not overextending like he was earlier. He's more just trying to touch Bobby King, but nice shot by Bobby King. Bobby King's got a nice little fade back. You think he's in range, and all of a sudden you're throwing that shot, and he's given just a little bit of space.
Good body shot by Bobby King, and even along the fence, able to utilize footwork, avoid Keone Diggs. Diggs pawing at him, trying to get him to bite and deliver that left hand, and we've seen him land the left, but Bobby King doing a good job of avoiding Keone Diggs and being opportunistic when it comes to landing his own strikes like that lead right hand, and there Diggs comes over the top with a left hook. Final 60 seconds of the middle frame. And you know that if you're a Keone Diggs fan, you're waiting for him to launch a left hook, but he gets countered with a right hand that momentarily staggered him.
You see that took him off balance. That was a nice clean shot.
Seconds left in the round. Final 10 seconds, and it's been close, competitive, and yet Bobby King with a slight edge in terms of our stats. And we're headed to the third and final round, and Diggs.
That was a big swing and a miss.
Missing with that left hook.
All right, hey, everything's working, okay? He's literally just timing your left hand. That's it. So if you just don't step in hard, only throwing the left hand, we're good, okay?
Take a look at some of the shots here. Both guys looking for the counters. Nice left hook over the top by Keone Diggs. Bobby King throws the right, dips his head. Touched by the left hand of Diggs. And Diggs comes in hard, straight right down the pipe. Back and forth between both guys. It's a close one.
Diggs looking to bounce back from his first professional loss. Bobby King looking to make it 2 straight in the Bellator MMA cage. And it very well, again, could come down to this third and final round, and they're fighting like it.
Bobby King coming out with a lot more aggression, holding his ground, coming forward. Kind of feel like he thinks he needs to take this round along the same lines as Keone Diggs should.
You heard Diggs' corner, Ivan Flores, saying that King waiting just to time the left hand, and we've seen Diggs with some success, but we've seen King do a good job of defending and avoiding the left.
He's avoided it throughout the fight for the most part. He's gotten touched a couple times, but he's been very elusive, making Keone Diggs miss.
counter from Diggs. Yeah, good low kick by Diggs. 3 minutes left in the fight.
Bobby King turning the tables on Keone Diggs in this third round. He's the one applying the pressure.
Yeah,
he's the one going forward. Nice. Nice right hook.
And there's a right hook, left hand combination by Diggs, who's been on his back foot, but now putting together a couple of good combos on Bobby King midway through the final round. Side kick by King. Jab to the body by King from the southpaw stance. Jab to the face scores. 2 minutes remaining. There's a jab from Diggs, but not a lot of combinations, not a lot of sustained offense with a minute 45 left in the fight. Range. Both of them obviously respecting what the other possesses, John, in their approach.
Oh, no doubt about it. They both felt the power of their opponent. Both like, I need to be careful with this guy. You can't blame either one. Keone Diggs making a mistake right there.
A couple of lefts from Bobby King. Minute left in the fight.
That's what happens. You overextend.
And Bobby King now scoring blows and avoiding these shots from Diggs. Final 45 seconds. Clean combo indeed. And it's Bobby King pulling away here in the final minute of the third round. Scoring the strikes. Bobby King avoiding Keone Diggs. Offense. And as we head into the final 15 seconds, the crowd here cheering on these two Hawaiian fighters who go the 15-minute distance. Keone Diggs and Bobby King, and King seemed to pull away in that final frame. John, did he do enough to take the round and win this fight?
I think he definitely took the round. At 38 years of age, Bobby King continues to improve. That was a great fight. He frustrated Keone Diggs. He handled the power of Diggs. Not an easy thing to do. He looked really good.
Utilizing that footwork. Danced in luau's, a professional fire knife dancer, and well, again, wherever you can learn footwork, it's all about utilizing whatever techniques it takes, and maybe wanted to see a more uptick in the offense, but it is, I mean, styles make fights. These two know what the other represents. Hey, Keone Diggs went from being Bobby King's biggest fan to his nemesis tonight. And John, take us through what you saw.
Yeah, you can see Bobby being able to land the cleaner strikes throughout this third round. There were situations where Keone started to overextend a little bit. Bobby took advantage of it. He put on a very good performance. At 38 years of age, Bobby King is the real deal, and he comes to fight. He is not an easy person to be in there with. He's elusive. He's got good power. Nice fight.
There's 35-year-old Coney Diggs in his 11th pro fight. Again, suffered his first loss last time out. Will it be his second straight setback? We're about to find out from Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, from your judges' scorecards, your first, Brian Miner, scores at 29-28. He sees the fight for King. Your second judge, Kyle Takao, scores it 29-28. He sees the fight for Diggs. Your third and final judge at cage side, Michael Bell, 30-27 for the winner by split decision, Bobby King.
Bobby King now 3-1 in Bellator MMA with a split decision win over Keone Diggs, who falls to 2-2 here in Bellator. Let's go back to Amanda at the fight desk.
Morrow, thank you so much. It has been such an incredible night here so far. It is going to be very loud here in a little while because we get the return tonight of Alimale McFarland here in front of her hometown crowd. And Josh, she has been away for a year and a half. I got to say, everywhere I went around town, is Alimale fighting? Do we get to see her? How's she going to look? What do you think? But let's talk about the walkouts, because when she walks out here, it's going to be insane.
It's not just going to be insane, but it's going to be emotional. And that's one of the biggest things. The first time she did it, she started crying. And I was thinking to myself, you're walking out, you're crying, she's emotional. Because she had the performance of a lifetime. It was amazing to watch what she did that night. And then the second one was almost to be outdone by the first one. They're always emotional. There's always some sort of statement to go along with it, but she is electrified by this crowd and by the state of Hawaii and everyone here. She loves fighting here. And honestly, it comes down to, I get chicken skin, as she would say, every time she performs and every time that they come out for these fights.
And she says she uses that emotion in the cage, and she knows everyone is on her side. We can't wait to watch her fight tonight against Justine Kish. Morrow, we'll send it back down to you.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. After weight-cutting issues at 155, Goichi Yamauchi moves up to the welterweight division for the first time in his career against 11 Cheley, who is 10-1. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Tonight, the Bellator 279 prelims roll on as we go now to the welterweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 6 foot, weighing in 169.6 pounds. His professional record, 10 wins, 1 loss, from Tbilisi, Georgia. Introducing Cheley. Across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 170.6 pounds. The Bellator veteran brings an impressive 23 professional victories, 5 defeats, fighting out of Curitiba, Bahia, Brazil. Introducing Goichi Yamauchi. In charge, your referee Jason Herzog.
Goichi Yamauchi, 20 of his 26 wins have been via submission. He's looking to put the choke in Lipon's last name. He's got 14 submission wins via form of choke. Cheley would like to avoid that fate, thank you very much. And he comes in at 10-1, an intriguing matchup as Yamauchi moves up to 170 for the first time.
It is an intriguing matchup. Goichi Yamauchi uses a very karate-centric stance, but he doesn't have the wrestling that you would think, where he tries to really take guys down. He gets it to where guys take him down all the time. He wants them to, and he gets the submission off him. And you look, you go, why are you taking this guy down? Here we go with Goichi actually trying, shooting in. He said he's been working on his wrestling. He's going to make it to where he's the one deciding when the fight hits the ground. We'll see if he can make it happen here.
Yamauchi, Bellator MMA submission king with 8. He's 12-4. In the Bellator MMA cage. Cheley 1-1, struggling to stay on his feet, and is taking a seat courtesy of Yamauchi. 1 minute gone in the first. And Yamauchi saying, you know, he was forced to move up in weight and feeling that, yeah, it's the best thing that's happened, even though, again, had success at lightweight in terms of what went on in the cage, but a lot of issues making weight.
A lot of issues making weight, and some of the success was he was getting burned by losing so much weight. It was not healthy for him. It was not good with his performances. He needed to move up. This is a good thing for him.
Yamauchi pops his head out, open guard of Cheley.
And this is not a good thing for Cheley, having Yamauchi on top.
Yeah, Cheley known for his striking, 9 of his 10 wins via knockout. Has never been the recipient of a submission win, and of course with the one loss that came against Kyle Crutchmer at Bellator 260 via unanimous decision. So he's never been stopped. Under 3 minutes left in the first round. Yamauchi working from top position.
Yamauchi is a dynamic submission fighter, a guy that can pull off any submission that you can think of inside of the cage. His setups are beautiful. He is a terror from the top position. So Cheley needs to be very careful. You can understand why Cheley is keeping that closed guard most of the time. That's to try to control where Yamauchi is able to go. Beautiful
Side
pass.
control for Yamauchi along the fence, and now double wrist lock will be.
And Mo, you saw how easily he did that.
Seamless.
That's just the difference. And there's technique, the style. He set up for the Kimura here. He's going to try to bring the leg over the head. Once he isolates that head right here with the leg, now he's able to take and bring this arm out. Cheley's in serious trouble right now.
And he does have 5 armbar submissions. Cheley trying to defend against this submission attempt by Bellator MMA submission king. And forced to go back to the closed guard is Yamauchi. And now from this position, again, you go for a submission, you put yourself on a position, but Yamauchi using the fence effectively.
Well, the fence actually hurt him in the armbar attempt because he wasn't able to
trying to escape here, I meant, the scramble.
Yep. You're right there. He's trying to use it. You see, he can push off of it. He can put his hand on it. He can put his foot on it. He just can't.
And there
grab.
he is again, trying
right
desperately, rolling right back to the arm, and stacking him up is Cheley. Not wanting to lean back too far. Now it's better position. There's the tap. And the submission king adds another tap out to his impressive resume as Goichi Yamauchi in his welterweight debut submits Levon Cheley.
That's what I was talking about. You cannot just go to the ground with certain people. And Yamauchi's one of those guys. This guy can pull off a submission at the drop of a hat. Once he sets it up, look out, it's coming, and it's going to be difficult to stop. Very, very nice win by Goichi Yamauchi.
Tremendous victory for Goichi Yamauchi, and that's how you make a welterweight debut, forcing Cheley to tap out. And he improves now to 27-5, his 21st submission, his Bellator record-extending 9th submission win.
This is when Yamauchi shoots in for the takedown. Good heavy pressure. You see Cheley trying to get his legs splayed there to establish himself with the base of that fence, but he's unable to stop as Goichi starts to bring him forward. You see that underhook on that arm, grabs the ankle. Once he gets the ankle, gets him down to the ground, and then swings into this beautiful armbar attempt. This is the second one. You see Cheley tries to smash him down, but as he's sitting back there, that is not helping him. There he goes, pops it on. Now it's tight, arms extended. Beautiful submission.
Goichi Yamauchi picking up his first armbar submission since he submitted Ryan Couture at Bellator 162 back in October 2016. None other than Big John McCarthy was the referee that night. Let's make it official with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of the armbar. Official time, 3 minutes, 49 seconds. Round number 1 in his welterweight debut. He's the winner by submission, Goichi Yamauchi.
Let's go to Big John McCarthy.
I'm with your winner, Goichi Yamauchi. Goichi you've always been dangerous when it comes to the submission game inside the cage. And it's always been that weight issue was a problem for you. Moving up to welterweight, how did you feel in here?
Well, John, I guarantee to you, in the welterweight, I will be even dangerous. I will be even more, have more precision and with a little bit of a weight in my body. So I promise you that. I promise to all welterweight division, I'll be more dangerous, not just in my striking game, but in my grappling.
You started to set up the Kimura. You went for that strained arm bar the first time. You didn't get it. Was it the fence that kind of got in your way as far as you extending?
Yeah, everybody in the first round is dangerous, and it's hard to get a choke, but probably he's going to get tired. So this is our strategy, a lot of chokers, a lot of position, making tired and making tap.
Well, that was a beautiful win. Congratulations on that first welterweight win. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Goichi Yamauchi.
A record holder for most submissions in Bellator MMA now with 9. Let's go back to Amanda at the fight desk.
Moro, thank you so much. What a way to begin the night here. Amanda Guerra, Josh Thompson on the fight desk. We're about to send it over to Showtime in just a second. But Josh, let's talk about what we have coming up on the main card, starting with the launch of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. We had the wild cards yesterday. Both of these fights are going to be absolutely phenomenal tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited for both of them. I'm excited for these fighters to finally get in there and display their skill set. But on top of that, the action that they're going to both bring. You got Juan Archuleta and Stotts fighting for the interim title because Sergio Pettis is injured and was out of the tournament. Stotts is very similar to Sergio Pettis because they were training partners for years. And now Juan Archuleta's already fought Sergio Pettis, so it's like getting a redo against his teammate in Rafael Stotts. No, I'm pumped for that fight. Horiguchi versus Patchy Mix. That's another one. Styles. The contrast of styles in that fight is going to be key because Patchy Mix, once he gets his fight to the ground, if he can, he's one of the best, if not the best, in the world at getting people to the ground and finishing them. And Horiguchi's got power in his hands. He's fast. He's elusive. He's all of those things that makes him a very dangerous fighter.
And here's the thing. This division is stacked. I mean, almost any of these guys could go on to win this tournament. But let's take a look at the main card here. A little adjustment. We do want to mention Emmanuel Sanchez, Yancy Medeiros. That is now going to be kicking off the night, followed by Patchy Mix and Kyoji Horiguchi. Josh, another thing, Alimale McFarland, the return of her. How loud is this place about to get?
It's going to get a little quiet as they do their dance on the way out. It's going to get a little emotional, but then it's going to erupt when she gets into that cage and she starts to fight. And I can't wait for the card to kick off with Emmanuel Sanchez and Yancy Medeiros. This place will be electric for that as well.
Why are you so excited about that?
They're dogs, man. Both those guys are dogs. They're going to come out there, throw down, and get after it. They both have great cardio, and they both will throw hands.
We also have the queen of the cage, Cyborg, defending her belt for the 4th time in Bellator. It is a rematch with Arlene Blencowe, who says this is the fight of her life. This is the pinnacle. It's all about to go down on Showtime at 10:30 Eastern. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Legend Chris Cyborg is back.
Cyborg starches Kavanaugh
In a title defense against Arlene Blencowe, plus Archuleta versus Stotts, and Mix versus Horiguchi in the Bantamweight World Grand Prix.
Lights out, lights out.
Bellator MMA tonight, live on Showtime.
Fight win streak on the line for Juan Archuleta.
Just like that,
right on the chin. Boom!
He's there to make sure he's pushing him off. Body shots.
There for all the big stars. You see this little wild wave. That's unpredictable. Yep. See the straight right into the chin.
Oh, he has a lot of energy to talk. Maybe continuing to go. Starts with an elbow on Hill.
And then comes with his own takedown. Nice little double leg takedown.
Trying to finish it right here, right now.
Pass is done.
It is all over.
Any movements, adjustments to Caldwell's approach to striking as he gets taken off his feet by Eagle. Eagle immediately attacking the back.
Right now I have this fight where it's...
Wow! That was wild.
That was beautiful.
Midway point of this fight. It is all over.
Good job of getting on the head, trying to get the kick out.
Dropping these right-hand missiles is Magomedov. Hammer fist to Hamilton. Hamilton trying to defend, eating these shots. And wow, what a belly to back suplex by Magomedov. Pounding C.J. Hamilton.
That beautiful takedown. Look at this. Otto started this fight at 5'5". He's now 5'3" after that.
Mix is taking Morales on a free ride across the cage. Patchy Mix putting a squeeze here on the arm triangle attempt.
That wasn't right. They should have stopped it. That was his cleanest shot. So here goes Patchy. Jumping for the guillotine. See him riding him on his hip. Spinning back kick by Horiguchi lands perfectly right, almost to the sternum area.
And Horiguchi runs right over Pettis. Trying to jump his back. Horiguchi with less than a minute left. It's Horiguchi again, implementing the offensive strikes.
Danny Sabatello wrestled at the University of Purdue. He is an outstanding grappler.
Got to improve positions, and Sabatello immediately securing another takedown with 45 seconds left. Drama here in the final round. Darian Caldwell, the former Bellator bantamweight champion, wanting to ruin the debut of Enrique Barzola, but Barzola putting on the pressure and putting on the offense here in the third round. And referee Mike Beltran intervenes. Mount raining in the ground and pound lefts and rights. Kellogg is 2-0 in Bellator MMA.
Look at the damage.
That's tight. It's not that it's not tight. Now it's not.
And Mikhailov with the takedown.
That landed.
A big shot. It could be the one shot that wins you the round. Nice. Beautiful.
Again attacking the neck. Oh, wow. And Keith Lee still feeling the effects.
Welcome to Bellator, Chris Cyborg. Born and raised in Curitiba, Brazil, member of the famed Shootabox team. Chris Cyborg, the most feared female in the history of mixed martial arts. To the body early. Matches up physically, Josh, with Chris Cyborg, maybe as well as anybody she's ever faced.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I just feel like John and I have been talking about this for weeks now. This is where she wins the fight. Sure, maybe it won't be the most exciting fight, but when you're fighting the GOAT, okay, this is the type of things that you need to do. Control the pace, control the distance. Make sure you don't get hit shots with shots like that.
And make sure you don't take the knee on the way out, right?
Nice exit by Chris and beautiful trick takedown. Doesn't have that bottom game where she's real dangerous. She is a top game fighter.
Chris Cyborg, believe it or not, has never won by submission. They're back up.
How often do you see someone just pop up like that? That's the physical size of Julia Budd, able to get back to her feet against Cyborg.
It was very impressive when you think about how she did that.
This is where Julia Budd needs to keep the fight high up on the underhook, against the fence, doing work. Knee in the leg, slowing Cyborg down. Don't try to force the takedown.
I asked her, win, lose, or draw, would your career have been complete if you did not have a fight against Cris Cyborg? She said, no way. She's had goals that have nothing to do with the belt, but those goals have led her to become a world champion. Now she faces arguably the greatest of all time in Cris Cyborg.
And this is a grueling style of fight.
The title holder for nearly 3 years, Julia Budd, 3 minutes into this fight.
Cris landed a very nice knee to the body there.
Big right hand though by Julia. She stepped in.
The slip by Cyborg after the kick.
Or that triangle, she's got to get that other hand inside her. She needs to pull her arm out.
Going for the arm.
She needs to stack her. She needs to keep her stacked. Nice throw to the head.
Beautiful job by Julia. Remain calm. Slides to the side.
Nice job on the crossface, keeping her back flat to the mat.
Yeah, she needs to get that hip down.
She's a switcher hips actually towards her legs.
Yep.
Stay and face her. Chest down. See, the problem is for a lot of people is they stay up on their knees. They need to actually just lay flat, put their hips over their face.
Good goal for
Julia Budd continues to apply pressure. The knee.
She was trying to knee the shoulder.
Heavy leg kick, 45 seconds left in round 1. Oh, she fires away.
Big right hand by Cris. This is where Cris becomes very dangerous. On top, she is explosive.
Big John, who gets round 1?
No, it was a very close round, but there were some things that happened in that, and I give Cris Cyborg round 1.
She's breathing pretty heavy right now. You see her mouth is open.
Both of them are breathing kind of heavy. I think it is. There's so much pressure. There is an adrenaline dump. And you've got to get through that.
Under a minute on the clock here. Fight scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. Featherweight title on the line.
What I don't like, what I'm seeing right now is there's a little tell every time Julia's going to throw. She lifts that lead leg before she does anything. It's a tell that she's going to do something, so that gives Cyborg a chance to take a step back and get out of range.
Both of these women have complete games, shooting for the takedown right on cue.
Nice on that smash single. What she needs to do, she needs to pull her away and step behind or get her feet moving.
Another good knee from Cris Cyborg, John.
Nice response. You see that Cris not only fought off the takedown, but left her with the reminder of you don't want to do that.
Big John, your scorecard.
Scorecard at this point, I have Cris Cyborg up 2 rounds to nothing.
All she had to do is, as John was saying, as the fight goes on, she should be gaining more and more confidence. That's all her husband was trying to remind her.
That's exactly it. Do you believe in yourself or not? It's mental at this point.
One of the hardest things, if you're Cris Cyborg, is you're always that one with the target. And Julia Budd being the champion, she had that target on her with every other person. Now she finally had to have someone that she could put a target on.
What she needs to do is put her feet on the hips. She doesn't want to be underneath her like this. She's got to put the feet on the hips and kick her back. Get up from there. You cannot afford to hang out with your hands behind your head like she's doing right now. I hate seeing fighters do that. It drives me absolutely crazy because that's a jiu-jitsu move. You see top jiu-jitsu guys sometimes do that like, I'm so good on the bottom, I don't have to worry about you passing my guard. In the meantime, she just missed her punches. She has missed her opportunity to get back to her feet.
And she just passed her guard.
Yes.
Julia Budd was finished by Amanda Nunes in her second professional fight. Last seconds of this round, big ground and pound from Cyborg. That mentality that she can come back in this fight. And at this point, to win, finish Cris Cyborg, who has landed 101 punches through 3 rounds.
Basically doubling what Julia's been able to put out. Nice chop to bottom.
There's some more. Look at that.
He's in trouble on this one.
And the knees, more hands.
He is in trouble, Mike.
big trouble. Big shot again. This is the Cyborg that we have watched. Body shot heard. And it is all over. Chris Cyborg is the Bellator featherweight world champion.
The new Bellator featherweight world champion, Chris Cyborg.
Can we talk for a second about the stare down? That kind of gave me chills. I don't want to stare down either one of them.